I already began cooking our dish for today. Ito siya is a dish you cannot eat without rice. Ano ba to? Guess, guess, guess. Can you guess? Showing you the ingredients. So we are making binagoongang baboy sa gata or pork cooked in shrimp paste and coconut. Oh, di ba? Sinasangkot siya ko na yung aking pork. No? So I'm searing my pork. Just the pork belly. And I'm just searing my pork to give it more flavor. No salt, no seasoning at all. And I'm just preparing my other recados. No? I have my minced garlic here ready. And I'm preparing my onions. And very important to this recipe is our bagoong or shrimp paste. No? So this is raw fermented shrimp paste. Hindi pa siya ginisa. It's just raw but fermented. And I rinse it to get rid of the excess saltiness. Kasi sometimes it can be so salty. So, taste a little bit of it. But don't wash it too much. Don't rinse it too much. Baka wala na ring flavor, no? And I have to add a little bit of oil here because ang ating pork belly is not too fatty. No, it's a bit lean. There are layers of fat but not too much. So, I'm just helping it render by adding a bit of vegetable oil. And I will just chop my onions and add it to my pork. Very simple to do actually. Just requires a bit of patience because you want our pork to become tender, no? Almost melt in your mouth. Mix this up before adding my garlic. Yan pa lang, oh. Yan. Onions, saute my onions along with the pork. Add my garlic. Minced garlic. And what we do now is we will add our bagoong. Look at that. Ito hindi pa to siya ginisa. This isn't the bottled saute kind. This is the type you buy in the market. But if you don't have this, it's fine. You can use the bottled. But just adjust the seasoning because there's a tendency yung bottled to become so sweet. Unless, of course, you like sweet bagoong. But for this, I don't want my bagoong to become sweet. I just want it to be savory. So what we're doing here, we just want to saute this. Give it time to, like, dry up. And all over the country, we have different kinds of fermented seafood. No? We love to ferment foods, and we always have the alamang. In the Visayas, we have what we call the ginamos, fermented fish. Yan. Sa inyo, ano ba yung tawag? Yan. And that really adds flavor to a lot of Filipino dishes. And here, I'm also using a lot of tomatoes, which I will add later on. So I just want to saute this, make sure that my onions are now cooked down. And what I will do now is just to balance the flavors. We're all about balance. We want to add a bit of suka. Suka! Vinegar. No? So, sangkot siya. We will just drizzle a bit of vinegar. This is probably half a cup. And as the vinegar cooks, the acidity will mellow down and it will create balance in our dish. Let that cook and we can cover that for a few minutes until our pork is almost tender. While waiting for that to cook, this is the best time for you to click on the subscribe button if you still haven't subscribed to the Chef Tatung YouTube channel. Click, 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 and also hit the notification bell so that you get notified every time we have a new recipe. And recently, of late, we have been uploading so many recipes very regularly. Yan. And you will surely love this one. So let's cook that for around 10 to 15 minutes before adding the other ingredient. Of course, the most important element of this recipe is your bagoong. But instead of pork, you can also try a version using chicken. You can also try using just vegetables, talong, diba? Okra, diba? Or you can also try using beef. Beef might be a good idea, but I haven't tried it. Pero I think it will work. So, look at that. almost fully evaporated ang ating suka, ang ating liquid. It will continue to cook and, let all this liquid dry off a little bit more. And now it's the time I will add my tomatoes. And I'm very generous with my tomatoes. This is around 7 large ripe tomatoes. And I always add the seeds whenever I add it to sauces. Why is that? Because the membrane of the tomato adds umami. Diba? There's a, very nice flavors that balances the sourness of the flesh and the sweetness of the membrane. And of course, just add the seeds there. Let that cook. And I will add, at this point, I will add a bit of soy sauce just for color. If you want to add oyster sauce, you can also add oyster sauce for a bit more linamnam. So I will add a combination of soy sauce. Not too much. Kaya hinugasan ko yung aking bagoong so that I know it's not too salty. This one just for color. And I will add just a tablespoon or so of oyster sauce. Not traditional, but I just like to add it. Some people like to add anato oil or chuete to give it a red color. Kasi some mga ibang bagoong kasi is not as red as the others. And some people really like that color. But for now, we will not add any. The tomatoes will do. And we will just let that stew. But you have to be very careful when cooking this because you know that your bagoong is salty. So I will taste a little bit if mali nga ako, di ba? I should have tasted before adding the soy sauce. But now I will taste. But I know because there's a lot of pork, a lot of other ingredients like the tomatoes and the suka. It has already cut the saltiness of the bagoong. Aside from rinsing it for a few minutes. Chop, chop, chop. Chop. And we know that our pork is still very tough. I just want to cook down my tomatoes a little bit more. And I'm adding here coconut cream or gata. Just drizzle that there. Add a bit of sweetness. I'm not adding sugar. Just the sweetness of the coconut. Yan. If you want to add siling labuyo, bird's eye chilies, it's up to you. So just add that there. Let that simmer and simmer and simmer. And wait until it's reduced to half the amount of liquid. And the pork is tender. If you want it to be saltier, just add more bagoong or just fish sauce. This is good. This is good. And this is very good. And I will prepare my siling pangsigang. So if you don't want to add gata or coconut milk, you can just add a bit of sugar to balance. Some people really like sweet bagoong, but I don't like sweet bagoong. This is fine with me. Just add the sweetness to balance the flavor. And let's wait for that to cook for a few more minutes. Wait for the tomatoes to melt away in this delicious sauce. And we will come back for it in a few minutes. And the magic has happened. Just waiting for it to slowly cook until everything comes together. All the flavors come together. And look at that. Are you ready? Sobrang bango. And you wouldn't think there is coconut milk in this because it's really cooked really well. And I will add all my chilies. Siling pangsigang. I just leave it whole like that. Pork is tender. Very nice. Rich sauce. And everything is so balanced. So I will just allow this to simmer for a few more minutes. So you can add whatever vegetable you want on the side. I have here blanched eggplant. So when I cook dishes like this, especially when I add a lot of chilies, I don't really add black pepper anymore because it's already good enough. There's that kick of spiciness. I just want to cook this a little bit more. Beautiful color. I will just taste to make sure I don't have to make any more adjustments. And I will taste. Dun, dun, dun. Masarap. And it's done. Kumikembot na yung ating pork. It's tender but not too tender. Look at that. Gusto nyo ba? Tatakam ba kayo? Oh my God. And I will just arrange this green chilies on top. So kung sinong gusto ng maanghang, bahala na kayo. It's up to you. And let's put that aside. And for me, I want to taste. And you can't have it without rice. The perfect way to eat this dish is to eat it with your hands. Talong muna tayo with our bagoong. Baboy is life. Oh my diet. Naubos ko yung 1 cup na. So this is our very sinful recipe for today. Pork binagoongan with gata. Tara, let's get some rice and let's eat sinful!